You have to manage what's going in. And so that means you got to put good in. You got to tell yourself you are good at something, then you get good at it. You get that? You have to tell yourself you are good before the evidence shows up. Now, you are on a path of doing things that are out of your comfort zone, right? And I'm here with you. The other people on your team are here with you. And this 4 months time of your life is like this time to do things that you normally didn't have the courage to do, to get things organized, take some steps, put yourself out there, really follow those impressions that you've had for quite a while. Now, it would be great if everything always works smoothly, right? Like everything worked out great. But then if I told you that everything always going to work out smooth, I'd be lying to you, because it takes effort and it takes energy to be able to move your life forward in a direction you've never gone before. Everything I've ever done new has always taken a stretch. It's just that feels good, but it hurts kind of experience. And so if you're running into difficulties, if you're running into success, or if you're having success and then right after that you have a difficulty, that's just life. It's life. We embrace life and we stay focused on what we know our calling is, what our mission is. What are we to do? I talk to people who are successful and I talk to people who are struggling, and I hear the same thing from both. And this is the thing I hear from both people, the successful and the struggling, is that they are learning about themselves. Every time I hear people who are being successful, they're learning about themselves. People who are struggling are learning about themselves. And I'm really starting to figure this out, that it all comes down to, and you hear me say this every week, but it comes down to what I think about me, what I think about my abilities, and what I think about what I can produce. What I think, those three parts, what I think about me, what I think about my abilities, and what I think about what I can produce. And those three things right there affect my confidence level directly. If I think down about myself, I'm not going to really put myself out there. If I think down about my abilities, I'm going to hesitate and procrastinate, which then creates perfectionism, right? So I'm going to hesitate. If I think down about my results, I'm not going to try again. Those three things, man, they can just whoop you. You know what I'm talking about with this. And I don't know if you've written this down yet or if you stuck this on your mirror. What you think about yourself, what you think about your abilities, and what you think about what you can produce. Those three thoughts, man, if I were you, I would predetermine what those thoughts are and literally create and manufacture and write and structure those three thoughts. When I meet people and I listen to them talk, it's the three things I listen for. What do they think about themselves? What do they think about their abilities? And what do they think about what they can produce? And if any of those are low, then I know they're struggling. So notice, if the thought is low, then struggle shows up. Like struggle, like stop them kind of struggle. But I don't know if you've written this down. After I've said it every single week, if I came over and like did a bathroom mirror inspection, now that would be funny, right? A bathroom mirror inspection to see what you've got plastered on your mirror. Do you have declarations? Do you have your goals? Do you have these 3 thoughts? I haven't told you to do that, but I'm just thinking, if I checked and just to find out if you are managing those 3 thoughts, meaning predetermining what those thoughts are, you are going to function at the level that those thoughts currently reside. And so you triangulate those thoughts and you're going to find out where you're at. Like if you're not offering your program and nobody's buying it, well, sorry, if you're offering your program and nobody's buying it, well, then there's some thoughts in your head about your performance or your abilities and what you can produce. And so, man, if I dug into it with you, the first thing I would look at would be your thoughts. And we'd have to analyze where those thoughts are. And then where you're going with those 3 areas of thoughts. And so, of course, you don't have the skill. Of course, you don't have the education. Of course, you don't have the confidence yet. That's why you're here, is to build it. You're here to build the confidence, build the clarity. You're here to build the skill, build the practice. That's why you're here, is to build these things. You didn't show up here already ready to go. You're here to build it. And so you want to build yourself from the inside out. Structurally, on the inside, you want to build yourself with the network of thought. It's huge. I can't tell you enough, and I guess I'll just tell you every single week. I'm going to take my little moment here to do my speech from my soapbox about thoughts. It's what changed the game for me when I first started out, because I did not have the education, I did not have the skill, I did not have the clientele, I did not have a list, I did not have all the fancy stuff that's available in this world right now. 17 years ago, I didn't have hardly anything. The only thing I had to start with was visualization and the power of language. Language in my head and language out my mouth. That's all I had. Visualization and language. Language in my head, or self-talk in my head, and the language I spoke. And I was like super weird that way. I mean, I stood out like really bad with people because I was like, well, don't say that. That's not good to say. Well, don't tear yourself down. I mean, like I was hyper focused on upgrading my language about myself, about my abilities, and about what I can produce, because I was terrible in that area. And I knew education, it was going to take me years to get the education. But while I'm getting the education, I can still upgrade me. I can still do something. I could teach something. Really, I could teach vision boards. I could teach affirmations. You could teach that. Whatever you've got, you've got something. But if you're down about yourself, about who you are, what you can do, and what you could produce, if you're down, man, it's not going to happen. I don't know how to get this across to you, but through repetition each week. Super important that you are working your brain every single day. If you don't work your brain in creating these new neural pathways with vision board, with declarations, with any of these particular techniques or tools that you want to use, but you have to create the neural pathway or it will never happen. And I don't know how much you understand this, but you won't get what you want unless you have a neural pathway to create it. So a neural pathway is a series of thoughts. It's the electrical pulse. It's the chemical pulse through your brain that creates the action. And so if you are not pre-programming yourself for success, it's not going to happen.